Well, old and crackadated here, and I went to Walmart today and bought a 15-inch outdoor fire pit, stainless steel. Collapses down, it's got a carrying case for it. Well, let's open this thing up. Ozark Trail. Back when I was trying to order one, on the internet, it was always back ordered, out of stock. Boy, got a nice box it's in anyway. And instructions. Should have read them. Now I'll lay them over here on the stove. Looks like a pretty good outfit. So far I've not gotten anything from Ozark Trail that I wasn't happy with. They make some mighty good products. Well, that's great. It's good and heavy. And there's the carrying bag. It collapses down and fits in that bag. I guess I better get the instructions out, because there's a lot of pieces. Green. You moved off the fast, rough. Oh, get it out of the box. Be a lot easier to mess with. Dump the box right over there. How in the world do you get that thing out of there? It's supposed to come out. Oh, there you go. You got to take the outside ring off there. Then it comes out. I'd say that's the way it goes together. And that goes down in there to hold the firewood. And I don't know about that piece right there. I'll have to look at the instructions on it. So far I hadn't needed any instructions, but that's probably going to end very soon. We'll set that right there, and enough plastic to cover the world. I might use some good plastic bags like those because I got a lot of things that has to be protected from moisture and dust. Well, so far so good. I'll be building a fire in that thing in a little while. Go down and get some more firewood. I got some dry there to get it started with. See how good I did with the That's the ash pan. It goes down here. It says put in the ash pan first. Then the stove chamber goes on. Of course, I've got all that stuff right. I've got that part right. I wish little Ben and Bear would come on. They run off and I don't know where they go to. Down close to the swamp. That's always the direction they come from. There's nothing to hold the ash pan in the middle down there. It just drifts around wherever it wants to. Of course, if I was going to cook anything on that, I would set the little grill on there like that. That's a handy little outfit. I've used it on quite a few things. Well, enough of that right now. I'll get the thing out here in the yard and get me a wheelbarrow of wood. I got to feed the horses first. Then we might just build a fire. Well, we're going to see what this looks like. Now, this is the package I was talking about that's arriving today. UPS. It went from Mississippi, I think Laurel, Mississippi, to Memphis, to Nashville, to Decatur, And I got the message on the truck out for delivery. Well, they put it on the wrong truck. They put it on the tractor trailer rig heading out of town to Ohio. It went to Ohio, which is probably Cincinnati or somewhere near there. Then it came to Nashville and Atlanta, where it stayed for 2 whole days. Well, it went through Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, and made it down to Atlanta, where it sat for 2 days. Then they finally shipped it out, and I didn't get notice it was coming until this morning. Finally, there was no shipping information at all from Atlanta. It sat there for 2 days or more, 3 days. And this is a 6th day for delivery. And look at the package. I'm fixing to open it up right here on camera, so if it's broken, I've got the evidence. There's no sense in them beating things up like this. This is my Vangoa acoustic. But they do double boxing. Let's chuck that on out of the way over there. Get me down here out of the picture. Yeah, I like to have video evidence when I'm opening something that's been beat up that bad. Oh, I've had some boxes that UPS, I'm surprised they're still in business, that they can actually ship things. But they actually put it, and I knew this is the way it would come. And this is a good gig bag, padded gig bag. Has to be to survive UPS. I'm not happy with them folks at all. I got a banjo that they hauled that you could look inside the box and see the banjo, it was so bad. But it had one of these wraps like this on it. There's my Allen wrench for the truss rod. Oh, what a beauty, what a beauty. Oh, love that satin black. Whew. Ain't that a beautiful thing? It definitely took a trip. Oh man, sneezing like crazy. My dogs are sneezing. Y'all don't want to hear me tune the guitar. Let me tune it and I'll turn the camera back on because I'm down to 3 gigabytes, so I don't want to run out. Yeah, fall and break my neck today. Ugh. I've been tripping over a lot of stuff lately. Here's the goodie bag. Got a tuner. Of course, I've already tuned it, so I don't need a tuner. There's a strap. What I need is the and of course it's got the guitar cable. Be nice if all guitars came with a little goodie bag like this. Nice little zip up bag, and of course you've got a pick guard. Well, a white one would look good on that, wouldn't it? But it's got a black pick guard. I may put that on it and I may not. It's got an extra set of strings. And it's got a capo. How about them animals? All right. Well, let's plug this thing up and see what she sounds like on that. I'll play a little acoustic. I already know it sounds good, but tuning it up. Get the pedal down here. Getting nervous on that one. Let you see how that thing sounds. Turn this on. Well, it always helps, I guess, if I open the battery. Same thing I did on the other one. I got to do the battery. Well, shucks. Yeah, time to light the fire. Hopefully. Here, I get ready to do some cooking. better put this over there. Oh, no pin hanging out of it. Not me, it's the dogs ruining my stuff. Ugh. Hello, my babies. Yeah, that started real good. Started real good. See if I can find some short stuff to put in there. That's too long. Well, we'll let that burn down a little bit because that's a little bit hot. I'll tell you the story about that. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me move the camera back around here where I had it. I'll just do it this way. I've got that new tripod. I don't have to be in the center there. I want to show the flame. Well, anyway, about that Vangoa guitar. They shipped it out, I think, Laurel, Mississippi. It went to Memphis. I believe it went to Nashville, then to Decatur. I got the notification, it's on the truck out for delivery. Well, what they did when they took it to that truck, they put it on the wrong truck. They put it on the tractor trailer rig heading to Ohio. So then next thing I know, that evening I've been waiting all day long for that thing to be delivered. Well, when they finally book it in up there in Ohio, then I get the message. It's all 9 or 10 o'clock, something like that. I think it's 9 something that was checked in. I thought, what in the world are they doing with that? They had it right down here 25 miles away, and they sent it to Ohio. Well, it eventually made it to Kentucky, then to Nashville, then to Atlanta. And there it stayed for at least 2 days or more. And finally, it's left Atlanta. I thought, oh, it'll be here tomorrow. Well, that I think it went to Nashville and then finally back down to Decatur. And they finally delivered it today. Total of 6 days. That's the reason I opened with that 6 days on the road, and it's gonna make it here today. Oh man, that's about like a post office. That thing I was waiting on needed it bad, and it ended up in Red Bay, Alabama. That's almost on the Mississippi line, all the way across the state. Then it came back to Huntsville, and then it came to the post office in Decatur. But I'm telling you, roundabout ways. And that was a 3-day trip. It spent 2 days running around in Huntsville. They sent it to 4 different post offices. Then it made it to Muscle Shoals or Tuscumbia. Then it went to Red Bay. And then another day coming back. 3 whole days it danced around, finally ended back up in Huntsville, and then they finally got it delivered the next day. Oh, I tell you, if it can, it will, and it's like that Vangoa guitar. If it can, it will, and it surely did. A long trip. I don't see how they can make any money shipping stuff here and then sending it back way up to Ohio and then down to Atlanta. And they got a shortage of trucks when it gets to Atlanta because all the trucks are running, trying to deliver supplies for needy people over there. Didn't need that to get in their way. I mean, this was a Mississippi to Alabama thing instead of Mississippi to Alabama to Ohio and then Georgia. Rough, you've got cocoa burrs all in that kinky hair. Oh, that fire is hot. Like my little $95 fire pit. Those things were expensive last year. But they had that for $95 at Walmart last week, and I decided to get it. Glad I did. We're going to put a hamburger on there in a little while. Yeah, it needs to burn down just a little. Well, I'll shut the camera off, and when it comes time to cook, then I'll turn it back on. Well, time to put the grate over here. And the skillet. Well, I've got the hamburger patty here somewhere under this mess. I like my setup I had over there with the cast iron stove. Pretty good. There it is. Come out of there. Good old fat hamburger patty. It'll start frying any minute now. Oh. I guess all this stuff is up in front of the stove. Get you frying. What about it, Ruff? You gonna have a hamburger with you? Well, you just stay back out of the way now. Let me do the cooking. The sun's in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. Kindling pile out of the way. Well, I don't guess the sun is going to bake me. One thing I didn't have last year was this little critter right here. But now I've got plenty of help when it comes to cooking. And we're sitting on the smoke side of the fire. But now that hackberry wood don't smoke very much. It was wet this morning. Of course, I had some oak sticks and stuff down underneath it that was giving off a lot of black smoke, but it wasn't what I'd call noxious smoke. Boy, that hamburger's gonna cook fast. It smells good now. I don't want to melt my spatula. I don't know where my other spatula's at. Oh yeah. Look at that beautiful, beautiful hamburger. There's probably enough smoke on the splatter. That's going to flavor it pretty good. Let it get out my... I ought to have a glove out here. I guess not. Coffee should be heated up pretty quick. Hope the sound is doing all right. And I need to put this over here so I can set my coffee cup on it without melting the table. I don't like my camera set up today, but since I didn't have my remote mics on, hammered burger. Oh yeah. Well, let me break into my buns. Get out of the way, Ruff. Oh, Ruff! He took off one of my hamburger buns. Boy. Get back. Y'all get back. Get back. I gotta go in there and get another hamburger bun. Stay out of my stuff now. Stay out of my stuff. Come on, Red. Let me cut the camera off. Well, I managed to make it back out of here without them eating the rest of my stuff. Lord, thank you for this food. And thank you for the bun that somebody ate. At least his belly's full. Amen. That was something. That was really something. Oh yes. Too rude. Good burgers. Ooh. That'll be hot enough coffee in a minute. I want to make sure it's hot. Just another minute. You had enough, Ruff. Man, I was so hungry. I don't know why, I just wasn't able to get the camera set up right today. Guess I'll find out when I load it on the computer if it did right. How come it's so good when you cook it outside? Hmm. I wanted to get it done this morning. Okay. Here, what is it? We've had some beautiful weather. It's getting pretty cool at night. I think we're going to do a night out here in the tent with the puppies. You'd like that, wouldn't you? So it cools off in the tent at night. They go in there and sleep on the front. I've got that rubber mat on it. And she likes to go in there and sleep in the mornings. When it gets daylight before the sun comes up. I've got a spoon in one of these sacks. There it is right there, but I got to find the opening to the bag. You can't get in my coffee, baby. Good old taster's choice. Good stuff. It's just not hot enough right now. It will be in a minute. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this video since Tuesday, but I was waiting on my Vangoa guitar. I may play a little more here in a few minutes. Got it over there in the gazebo. I like that other guitar pretty well too, that thin line. It's a real pretty thing. It's got a really good sound to it. That's all of it, baby. Yeah, these puppies have sure helped me get through losing Ladybug. It was too late when her cancer was discovered. 23 days after she was diagnosed. I mean, she just all of a sudden started losing weight, and He was eating good. Everything else was normal, but she was losing weight, and with as much hair as she had, it wasn't noticeable there. And I mean, within the course of 2 or 3 weeks, she just started losing weight. I had a brother-in-law that was diagnosed with cancer, and I mean, he'd felt good up until all of a sudden he just started feeling bad and went to the doctor, and he had stage 4 cancer, and I mean, it was terminal. It was terminal soon. Died in 2 weeks. Cancer is a horrible thing. Of course, losing your life in a flood is no better. But a lot of times you know you're gonna die and there's nothing you can do about it, and I'm sure it's pure torture until the end. I can't believe that company did that. Printed a counterfeit mailing label. I finally made use of one of these tables outside. Of course, I had to clear the spider webs off of it. I had a funny story I was going to tell, but I've had so much going on today, I forgot what it was. With all these hurricanes and stuff, well, when I was in Vietnam, what they've got right now in Florida, I had 150 mile an hour, 155 mile an hour typhoon. All I had between me and the typhoon was a military poncho and a poncho liner. And the wind got up about 1 o'clock that afternoon and built steadily, and long before dark we had way over 100 mile an hour wind, and the thing was moving slow. And a buddy of mine, the one that ended up getting killed later, his platoon was down in the rice paddies and was trapped. And the highest ground they could get to, the water rose up. They were sitting on some graves at a cemetery. Of course, they built them up about 4 or 5 feet high, with a little ring around the top of them. You could get up there and sit, put your feet in that ring. But they were up to their waist in water, and them sitting, having to hang on to each other. And that wind building. And they sat there all night long, and the hurricane blew till almost, well, it was daylight when it finally started dying down. It had picked up speed then and moved on away. But it lasted about, I'd say about 16 hours or more. Reg, come here, puppy! Oh, there you are, right there. I heard them dogs bark and I thought it was you. I'm telling you, that was a miserable night. 150-mile-an-hour winds and on the top of a bald mountain. It reached a peak of 155. But at least we were fortunate enough we got ordered to climb up the back side of that hill, because where we were at, we would have been drowned. Streams that run through that valley we were down in. We came up the back side to the fire base, I guess to pull security for them so they could hunker down in the bunkers. But we had to secure that whole side of the hill and the helicopter pad. And that night, the company commander's bunker caved in. Him and the colonel had a big bunker, and the thing caved in. Had that PSP metal planks with the holes in it they made runways with. Well, they'd use that, put a layer of sandbags, then do another one crossways on it, another layer of sandbags. But those sandbags got so saturated with water because it was raining so hard and the wind blowing that it pushed one top of the wall in on the bunker, and then the thing caved in. I had to rebuild the top of his bunker before I could leave the fire support base. Me and two other guys. This is a little bit backward. Well, I think old and crackadated is going to cut this off. I got to find my spoon. There it is. I've enjoyed this afternoon out here and opening packages. I got to take that amp upstairs now. Because I can always bring my little bag down with the amp and the effects pedals to play out here. All in one bag makes it convenient. Yeah, now that's hot. Well, old and crackadated is going to clean up his mess here. Oh. After I sit here and drink my coffee, but I'm going to move over there in the shade. Like my little fire pit. And I'm sure y'all saw Ruff grab my hamburger bun when I turned my back. Old and crackadated, if it can, it will. Well, I've got buzzards circling overhead. I mean, a bunch of them. Don't know what they're after, but they sprayed this field a couple of days ago with sludge, sewer sludge. I don't think they ought to be allowing putting that stuff on fields because it's contaminated with everything in the world. People dump all kind of chemicals down their drain pipe in the city. But now they're circling right here around close. It may be me. Nah, my underarms don't smell that bad. wonder if something's dead right up here on the hill in the yard. Because it seems to be circling around right here on this hillside. Watch for them to land, and if they found something dead, I got to find out what it is in case it may be a cat or something. Well, I'm gonna go up here on the hill and check it out. Be back in a minute, let y'all know. Well, I found out what it was. Armadillos run over in the road up there. I've got some wildlife around here, ain't we, baby? Yeah, we got wildlife. Probably the wildest life is rough. In that crazy spot. Bear came up here with a big hunk of horsetail this morning. Of course, that old matted, tangled tail, when it gets like that, the end of the tail, finally a hair at a time breaks till they finally drop off. Usually happens around this time of year when they don't need their tails swat flies with as much. But it's impossible to keep their tails from being tangled. The older they get, the worse it gets. I don't have time to brush their tail every day or two. I like the little fire pit. I just need to saw my logs up a little smaller. That little old short chainsaw with the 2 batteries, that's the best $40 I've spent in a long time. And for $40, if one lasts a year, I can buy a new one every year. Yeah, I've got a Fender Mustang GTX 100 amp coming. Got a 100 amp single speaker in it. I started to get the one with the 2 speakers, and I might have, I don't know. But I'm thinking I got the one with a single speaker. But they had a 10% sale on them. That's the reason I bought 4 amps this month from Sweetwater. They had a 10% off. That way I got that Mustang 25 and Mustang 50, and now the GTX 100, and something else I ordered from. Oh, the foot pedal for the 50 LT, because it don't come with a foot pedal, but the 100 watt GTX comes with the 7-button foot pedal, and I think it was $259 with the 10% off. Oh, it was $359. Excuse me, $359. That was tax and all, delivery. But that's oh wait a minute, it's $459. Excuse me, because it's a $500 amp, but it's well worth it. It's got a built-in looper that. Pretty long looper, And you've got so many empty tracks that you can load your own tracks on, or you can go to their website and load all kind of different amp sounds and pedals and all kind of stuff like that. And do presets and then use your foot pedal to change out. I think you can do 4 presets on that 100 amp, or you're limited to 2 preset channels on the 50. I think that's the way I remember it. But I've been wanting a GTX for a long time, and I just waited for that 10% off sale they have every year. And of course I got the LT25 bass amp. I already had it, so I didn't buy it. I didn't buy 3 amps. Oh, I'm slipping. But I did get a Sonicake Matrix 2 Pro. It's a really good pedal effects platform with a looper and everything built in. You can do a lot of stuff with that. I've got the Matrix 1. I've had it for a year or 2. And I liked it pretty well. I've got the Flamma FX 100 effects pedal. It's got the LED screen and everything on it like these others have. I tell you, if I could have had some stuff like this when I was a teenager, woo-wee, I might have been one of another million people out there competing for stage time. As it was, there wasn't a whole bunch of stage competition back then. You didn't even have pedals. All you had was Fender and Silvertone amps, which Silvertone were sold by Sears and Roebuck. I think Harmony owned Silvertone, but that was the Sears brand, the Silvertone. Had a Silvertone guitar. Matter of fact, I had one of the old archtop hollow body guitars. It wasn't electric. That thing played so good and had a pretty solid sound to it. I think it was made out of maple. So it was really good for all different kinds of music. And of course I had either a Harmony or a Silvertone amp. Just had a single speaker in it. I think it was like a 20-watt amp. But I got to play everybody else's guitars and amps, so I wasn't hurt. And a lot of my friends had Fender guitars and Fender amps, and my favorite guitar was one that a friend of mine had that played in a band, and he had a Silvertone. That was a gorgeous red with the tortoiseshell pick guard on it, and it had the most gorgeous neck. I think it had rosewood fingerboard on it then. There wasn't any restrictions on it. It was Brazilian rosewood. But you talk about the best playing guitar. I mean, I've played Fenders galore, Gibsons. No guitar ever had the action that thing had on it. And the pickups sounded great. He played it professionally. I mean, chose it above Fenders and Gibsons to play. And he did pretty good with his band that he had. Of course, I got to play with a lot of different people. And they always had 2 or 3 guitars. They weren't hurting for money. Their parents were pretty well off for the time. A lot of people worked at Ford and TVA and Reynolds, and if their daddy worked there, they had plenty. And so many of my friends had so much equipment that I got to play some really good guitars. I didn't have to have one of my own, even though I did have. 63, I bought a guitar at Alamo Music in San Antonio when I went to visit my brothers. And one of the guys I played with just kept on, "Oh man, sell me that guitar. I gotta have that thing." It was pretty now. It had a blue pick guard on it, the blue ice pick guard. It was white. I'm talking snow white. Had a beautiful neck on it, the frets were good on it. And of course I kept the action set just a little higher than most folks played it. He cranked the action down on it when he bought it. But I had such strong hands then. But that thing sounded great. It had a great set of pickups on it. It was a Strat style guitar. But I remember when I walked in that music store, I had to take that thing down off the wall and try it. Just as you walk in the door over to the right, they had guitars hanging on the wall. And I spotted that one and that blue ice pick guard on that thing. And it had blue lettering to match the pick guard on the headstock. It was gorgeous. Kind of wish I'd never sold it. I don't even remember what brand it was. I think it was made in Texas. Well, Old and Crackadated has run on enough. The buzzards are taking care of the armadillo. Well, I thought I'd add a little on the end of this video and show you what I'm giving my granddaughter. This is mine, but she's getting one just like it. It lights up these LED rings all around these things, the pretty colors. And, it's got an LED screen there. It's got every kind of effect you can think of. Of course, I've got a pair of glasses I've got to repair. Bear or Ben, either one got hold of them. They dropped out of my case, and both lenses are missing, and they chewed it loose there. But at least they left the earpieces on this time, and I recovered the lens. Now I want to show you the main attraction for this. Now it has a tremolo bar that goes in it, but I got it taken off and put in the pack and inside of it. But that's a bullfighter guitar. I like this thing so well, I decided I'd give it to her, and I'd just order me a new one. New one came in a day or so ago. Not a flaw in it, just like this one. Everything was just about the same. But it's a real beauty. She ought to be happy with that. There's the headstock on it. It's a real beauty. I've really enjoyed the thing, and I thought, well, it's already set up and ready to go, so I'll give this one to her. I just ordered me a new one. And of course, the new one came in, and it's just as good. And of course the amp looks just like the Fender amp that I was playing outside today. It's just slightly smaller. It's 25 watt instead of 50 like the big one I've got. But of course the little one don't have an effects loop on it, but you just run your guitar cable in here and then straight into the amp, and it puts everything in. They don't have to have an effects loop in it. You just feed into the front of the amp instead of in the middle of it. It's been done that way ever since pedals were invented, running them on the front of the amp. You just plug your guitar into your effects pedal, run from the out to your in on the amp, just like you're plugging a guitar to it, and it just changes the signal, runs in the amp, and you get all those effects in it. It's amazing that they were able to do something like that. I'd say the guy that came up with it first was a genius. Well, Old Crackadated's had a long, hard day. I am exhausted. Other than that, I'm just pure old tired. Well, old and crackadated, and if it can, it will. And man, it did with that guitar. I brought both of them up here. I thought about playing tonight, but I thought, no, I'll just go ahead and put this video together and get it uploaded. Probably take me all night, and I'll probably take a nap here in the chair. I've done that several times, uploading stuff. Well, old and crackadated, and if it can, it will.